troubles and the state of the world and reconnect us up to what matters most. Summer is more than just a season. It's a state of mind. This is Stephanie Hare with the BBC World Service.
I'd be really interested to hear whether you're planning to head off on holiday. Do we all need a good break after lockdown, as the business owners in Hugh's piece suggested? Or is the threat of COVID-19 too much to risk travel? Drop us a line at world.business@bbc.co.uk, or I'm at Lucy Burton on Twitter. Thank you for all of your comments after last week's show. Dealing with incompetent bosses seemed to really resonate with lots of you. I'll be back shortly with news from Hong Kong and an interview with the acclaimed film director Gurinder Chadha.
This is the BBC World Service, where a new three-part series looks at the economic disaster caused by the coronavirus crisis and its effect on future globalisation.
You can't say we weren't warned.
There may and likely will come a time in which we have an airborne disease that is deadly.
That was Barack Obama in 2014. And in 2018, the man who helped discover the Ebola virus made this prediction.
A pandemic could trigger a global recession.
I'm Ian Golden, a professor of globalization and development. In the first program, I'm asking why, despite all the warnings, we didn't prevent the pandemic.
I don't think it's a failure of the World Health Organization. I think it's a failure of member states to listen and take what it's saying with authority.
And looking at how globalization, the connectivity between people, greatly increased the risks.
The pandemic that changed the world. Wednesday at 14 and 19 GMT.
Coming up on Business Weekly, we'll be in Hong Kong to get business reaction to the imposition of new security laws there. Can the territory still be a hub for global trade? We'll also be taking a look at the makeup industry and finding out how social media and influencers have changed the way that women choose which brands to use. And how do you make a film during lockdown? We'll hear from a director who's done just that.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. President Trump has condemned what he called a merciless campaign to wipe out America's history and defame its heroes. Addressing supporters at an Independence Day celebration at Mount Rushmore, the president barely mentioned the coronavirus pandemic. He cast his campaign for re-election as a struggle against what he called a new far-left fascism. He promised to defend statues after dozens were attacked during anti-racism protests. The commander of Colombia's army says he has fired 31 soldiers accused of being involved in the sexual abuse of young girls. General Eduardo Zapatero said he would use all legal means to stop the abuse. Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro has diluted a law requiring the mandatory wearing of face masks in public. Mr. Bolsonaro vetoed their obligatory use in shops, churches and schools, arguing this could be unconstitutional. He also halted the distribution of masks to the poor. Congress will decide whether or not to overturn the veto. Pubs, restaurants, cinemas and hairdressers are among the businesses being allowed to resume trading in England, 15 weeks after the coronavirus lockdown was imposed. The British government has urged people not to get carried away. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he wouldn't hesitate to tighten regulations if infection rates spike again. There are reports of a loud explosion close to the seaport in the Somali capital Mogadishu. Local media say the blast was caused by a car bomb near the customs office. It's unclear how many people have been hurt. Details are still coming in. And about 75,000 people on Japan's southern Kyushu island have been ordered to evacuate their homes as torrential rain caused floods and landslides. And those are the latest stories. BBC News.
Hello, this is Business Weekly with Lucy Burton. Wednesday marked the 23rd anniversary of the handover of Hong Kong from the UK to China. And it was on this day that the Chinese chose to implement sweeping new security laws in the territory. Inciting hatred of the Chinese government is now an offence. Damaging public facilities, as happened during last year's protests, is now regarded as terrorism. Just after the laws came into effect, the first arrests were made.
the situation today is a lot of riot police standing in each street and not allowing the Hong Kong citizens to come out and protesting against the national security law. And even there is some flags to frighten the Hong Kong people not to shout any slogans, not to show any flags and banners. So I would say that this really shows that the dictatorship regime and the decades are really coming to Hong Kong.
The world has been almost unanimous in its condemnation of the move. In the UK, the Prime Minister offered British citizenship to 3 million Hong Kongers. Boris Johnson said the passing of the law was a clear breach of the 1985 Chinese-British Joint Declaration. In the States, the House of Representatives has approved new sanctions, penalising banks that do business with Chinese officials. The House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, called the law a brutal, sweeping crackdown against the people of Hong Kong and their freedoms. These new laws have divided the business community there, and many are watching, waiting, to see whether the territory can still operate as a leading global business hub. Mike Johnson reports.
June the 30th,